You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB. Crouch, hold, engage. Weekend Sport with Jason Pine and GJ Gardner-Holmes. New Zealand's most trusted home builder, News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB coming up 1:45 on Sunday. That means James McOnie. James, we've been doing Razor's report card on the radio this afternoon. Do you want to join the fun? Give it a grade?
I'd love to join the fun, but first we really need to flush the dunny and move on, to quote Steve Hansen, because that was one giant, let's say, turgid test match this morning. But yes, I would like to give my grade. What have you given, Piney?
I've yet to give my grade. I've been leaving it up to the to those far more learned than myself. I can tell you that if we're talking out of 10, Liam Napier has given them a 6, Elliott Smith a 5.5.
Right, I'm going to go higher. I'm giving them a B. I'm going to go B because of it's a rebuild year. Let's be honest. You know, you lose Brodie Retallick, Aaron Smith, Sam Whitelock. There's a lot of IP going out the door right there. So as a bit of rebuilding and filling the leadership void, I'm going to go B. And it's just because of that 1 point. I think people are marking them down because of that 1 point loss, right? Because if you have an unbeaten Northern Tour. So that's why I'm staying with my B. And I actually think if Sam Cane had played that test in Paris, we would have won it, because you noticed a couple of times we weren't cleaning out, and it made a big difference, I thought, to the outcome. Yeah,
it was look. It was a funny old test this morning, wasn't it? And, Jason Ryan was on the show and he said, look, it was a bit wet and we've had a long season, all that sort of thing. But it was, as you say, it was a bit of a tough watch, wasn't it? Pretty dour.
Yeah, it was. I mean, also, I do need, even though the referee made a couple of good calls, like by not binning Patrick Tuipulotu, there's so many times that the Italians were lying on the ground, slapping the ball away. And if that's not a penalty or even a card, then I think World Rugby need to have a look, because I totally agree with foul play and dangerous play being elevated to a level where you go and take some time in the bin. But the cynical stuff is getting to the point where there's no way they're supporting their body weight, and I feel like the All Blacks have to be so squeaky clean, because the straight away they'll find something, and that I think affected the game. It's just the referee not cleaning up that ruck area.
Now, All Blacks Player of the Year, I've written down Caleb Clark, Tyrell Lomax, Wallace Satiti, Cody Taylor, Tupou Vaa'i. Do you think it'll be one of those? Would one of those 5 be your All Blacks Player of the Year?
Yeah, I know I'm a massive annoying Chiefs fan, but I do feel that Wallace Satiti and Tupou Vaa'i have been best in show for me. And really, Wallace, I would actually just say he is the Player of the Year. I think that, I know that he's young, he's a rookie and all that sort of thing, but I mean, who's just made every post a winner? I think it's been him. And then Tupou Vaa'i has been an absolute revelation, but also maybe an option at 6 if we end up with another really big lock like a Fabian Holland coming through. Maybe Tupou Vaa'i, who is quite an undersized lock, maybe he needs to think about it, reinventing himself as a blindside. So, that's an option, but I'll probably go for Wallace.
I think he might. I think he might win it too, even though he's a first-year All Black. Without going back in history, I can't remember a bigger impact by a first-year All Black than his. I'm just trying to think. Maybe Maybe Aaron Smith. I don't know.
I think Mertz in his first year at World Cup I think was exceptional, and Christian Cullen. Those guys, when they first came in, Josh Kronfeld, I mean, there was 3 or 4 of them in that 1995 World Cup that were first years, and they were worthy of being nominated for Player of the Year. So, yeah, why not?
Other matters around today. Test cricket. I'm enjoying watching the Test cricket. Yesterday was a stark contrast to the first day. 17 wickets on the first day in Perth. But India, once they got Australia out yesterday, 172 without loss in their second innings, a lead of 218.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? So where does that put New Zealand? Are we just the best in the world? Come on,
I think we must be. I think we must be.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, look, Australia is our kryptonite, so I'm happy for them to be taken down a few pegs, but we really need to play Australia toot sweet, and I think it is coming up, isn't it, Piney? So we will find out sooner or later whether we can foot it with them. The one thing is that I'm always keeping an eye on, the Fab Four and of batters these days and their test averages. So I'm talking about Steve Smith, Joe Root, Kane Williamson, and Virat Kohli. And Kohli is in a massive slump, which is wonderful to see. So he is down in the 40s now, his average 47 or something like that, and dropping. Kane is in second place behind Steve Smith, but I noticed Steve Smith as well having a few hiccups. So long may that last. I'm always keen for Kane to finish on top. But what I really want to see from him with the Test match coming up now, the series against England, is he still the Kane we remember? Because he has struggled with against England before. Apart from that Test match at the Basin, he's had problems. And if that is the case, maybe it is time for Kane to go, well, the eyes aren't going to get any younger, and the team's in good stead without me. No pun intended.
No. Gee, I don't want to think about the day he walks away, but it's obviously coming, isn't it? It'll happen at some point. Hey, I just need to ask you about the A-League as well. I'll finish here on the air at 3, and then I'm just going to couch it for the Wellington Phoenix against Melbourne Victory, and then Auckland FC against MacArthur. Had a text this morning from a friend of mine saying, hey, should I back both of the New Zealand teams at the TAB in a multi? Would you be doing that?
No, I wouldn't. But that's just because I think we don't know how good Auckland FC is. I mean, that derby game was something special, and a crazy mistake from the keeper sort of decides it, right? So MacArthur will test them. I think Auckland FC are building to something really great, though. Now, Wellington Phoenix, I think they can be exceptional this year. So I maybe they're you'd think they might be a better bet, but the Victory, they're the best put together team in the A-League. Really, they've got they're probably the most stacked team. So that is tough, and that's that replay from that playoff match earlier in the year. So tough to see. I still think Giancarlo Italiano, Chief, the coach, is a genius. So we'll see if that bears out this year, Piney.
And you see, Man City lost again this morning. That was a shame.
Oh, no. How good is that? Like, I don't know I was always hoping for Nottingham Forest to do a Leicester City, but I think it is Brighton. I think they could do it. Let's just hope. I know Liverpool's your team and all that sort of thing, and they have got Mo Salah and all-time greats out there, but I just want to see someone like Brighton come up and upset the apple cart. And I need to say one last thing about Sam Cane, because he did follow on from Richie McCaw, hardest act to follow since, I think I've said it before, Freddie Mercury at Live Aid, but spending his whole All Blacks career trying to silence the critics and only really managing to silence them after that Ireland World Cup quarter-final last year. That's a long time. That is a lot to, a big burden for someone like that, including and throw in breaking your neck halfway through. I think he's been one of the toughest, and I guess, let's put it this way, he made the most of his talent, Sam Cane, so nothing but plaudits, and he deserves his flowers.
Absolutely right. Thanks, James. Always good to chat to you, mate. Thanks indeed. James McOnie, huge part of our Sundays. Hear him on the Alternative Commentary Collective, right across your socials, Crowd Goes Wild, and of course here on News Talk ZB.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday, or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.